Straight out of Norfolk in England comes Lotus's first SUV, the Lotus Eletra. Lotus Eletra's trim levels are offered in battery packs ranging from 92 kilowatts to 120 kilowatts, with an output varying between 600 and 750 horsepower. Certain models have an acceleration from 0 to 100 in just 3 seconds and less, and a range of approximately 600 kilometers. The new Lotus Eletra is available from Daytona in the waterfront in Cape Town, South Africa, ranging from 4.5 million rand to 5 million rand. So should you be interested in this spectacular brand new SUV EV from Lotus, I will leave a link below. So there you go. So let's review the Lotus Eletra R from front to back, and we'll start up front with the beautiful shark nose and the LED lights left and right, the Lotus badge in the center, and then as we move down we will see the honeycomb grille shutters, which automatically open to cool the motor and close to extend the driving range. Then as we move on, we have the flush pop-out door handles, the folding mirrors, and then of course the LiDAR system. The Eletra's LiDAR system scans 200 meters around the car in every direction, generating a sophisticated 3D map of the surroundings to detect obstacles even in low light or inclemental weather. Then on top of the rear screen we have the window spoiler with 2 curved blades which direct air over the rear window to connect with the deployable spoiler down below. Then on the front left hand mudguard we have the charge port. Just with the push of the lid that opens automatically. Then you have a light for a night charging, and then with a push of a button it closes automatically. And then we have the spectacular 23-inch mag wheels with the Lotus branded calipers, and then of course the Lotus badge right in the center. Beautifully designed mag wheels in silver and gray, and then of course clad with high performance Pirelli P0 rubber. So let's check out the trunk space of the Eletra, and we've got 3 ways of opening, either at the base of the trunk lid, there we go, or on the driver's door, or on the key fob. So there is the space. It's relatively large for the Eletra, and we have the parcel tray on top, and then of course on the right hand side we have 2 buttons which either lower or elevate the rear suspension for easy loading. And then we have a little secret space underneath the trunk floor, and there we have your puncture repair kit, and there we go. Let me open it up. Yes, it's the puncture repair kit. There we go, nicely packed. And then of course it's got Velcro on the underside to keep it steady, not moving around. There we go. Let's put it back in its space. And then of course we have the emergency triangle, also got Velcro. There we go, keep it steady, it doesn't move around. And then of course we have the tow hitch, everything there for an emergency. So let's move out of there and let's close the oh well, we also have the back seats which fold down in 3 segments. There we go, all manual though, it's not electric. And that's about it. There's a speaker as well. Yep, I'm not sure why you need a speaker in the back, but anyway, let's move on. And there you can see the interior of the Eletra. We'll be going there shortly, and that's about it. So let's close it up. It has an electric closing mechanism, so let's push the switch, and there we go, closing up on the Lotus Eletra. Just check out that lighting on the back of the Eletra. And let's check out the key fob. Rather unusual, it's almost in a triangle shape with only 1 button which opens the Eletra. So let's check it out. Let's move around and open the door. You'll see that the let's just do it again, and you'll see the door handles pop out. They normally flush, and then when you push the button they pop out beautifully. And there you go, that's the interior. Door beautifully clad in leather. charcoal leather with the red stitching, beautifully integrated speakers, and of course an incredible dashboard. Very futuristic. Just check that out. Beautifully done, and we'll have a check out all the details pretty shortly. So a beautiful screen in the center. There we go, a smaller screen, or the gauge cluster is a smaller screen. And there we go, there's the side panel once again. Beautifully integrated speakers, really beautifully done. Look at that design. And then of course that same design is repeated on the door switches. You've got your windows and various others, integrated carbon fiber. And then of course on the door we have the rear boot opener, etc. So beautifully finished off in charcoal leather with red stitching. And then of course back to the dashboard. So back to the central gauge cluster, and we have that oval steering with all of the controls left and right. There we go, and those are all your traditional switches. You've got your Lotus logo in the center, the hooter in the center, and then integrated brushed aluminium, beautifully designed. And then of course you have your two paddles, one for drive modes and the other is for the regenerating braking. And then of course your stalks for your wipers, your indicators, etc. So very traditional, just a few additional switches for various other options in the vehicle. And then of course we have that unusual gauge cluster with a beautiful light bar which runs right across the dashboard, left to right. And then of course you can change those colors, of course. And then of course you can see all of the various different gauge cluster instruments. Quite small, however. We need good eyes to see them, but anyway, there you go. I'm sure it'll be fine. And then of course I just touched on the drive modes there again. You can see the drive modes changing there with the push of that pedal, and the various drive modes are then engaged. And then when we move back to the screen, you'll see on the far left hand side you'll see the passenger also has a screen, and then of course that light bar that runs right across the dashboard, left to right. Beautiful design. And there I've placed the key fob in that a little storage area. And then of course right now below the key fob is a charge pad for your cell phone, and those are toggles to change your climate controls. Very nicely done. And then of course you have your drive buttons, park, reverse, neutral and drive. And there you'll see on the screen you'll see the camera being engaged for the front, the rear, etc. when you engage the various different drive modes. So very nicely done, beautifully integrated into the center console. And then when we move back, you'll see the hazard light, and then you have the two cup holders, beautifully done, covered in Alcantara, and then a beautiful design around the edges. And that's repeated on the switch for the center console. Very large center console, very nicely done. Also clad in Alcantara with two charge ports, and beautifully done in red stitching as well. So really nicely, very classily done. And then of course we go to the center, and there's a switch to open your glove box. There we go. You really need to know it's there. And there you have the driver's manual in bright Lotus yellow, beautifully done. And there we go. So back to the incredible screen. Just check out that resolution, and of course they've made sure that the chip is large enough. The screen is very reactive, like your cell phone or your iPhone. Very reactive. And then of course everything touchscreen. You can change your temperatures either manually, or you can change them on the screen with a touch of a button. You also have on the little vehicle various different options which you can push, and automatically it will change, for example, locking of the door, changing of the overhead sunroof. In other words, you can be opaque, or you can open it to the sunshine. And then of course your radio, there we go. And then once again, just check out that screen, beautifully done. And then of course you can go into your temperature settings, your climate control settings, and set everything in more detail. There we go, a very detailed climate control mechanism. that gives you all of your options to cool various different climate areas in the car. And there we go. I just showed you the overhead sunroof once again. You can change that to give you sunlight or block it out. And then there are the various icons on the screen. And then the next one is obviously changing the colors in the car, the ambient colors. And there you go. You have a whole selection of different colors that you can choose from. And there you can see those light bars and interior colors changing. Beautifully done. There we've got a unusual a green. There we go. Got to push it twice before it actually reacts. There we go. Beautiful ambient lighting in the car. You can choose the color which you desire. A real beautiful feature in the Eletre. Just one of multiple different features. And then we move out of there, and then of course we have the screen cleaning mode, and you engage that. You also got to push it twice before it works. Then the screens are switch off so you can clean them, so they're all beautifully clean. And then of course into the back of the Eletre, a very large space. The floor is flat due to the batteries, fantastically clad seats, and then of course check out that ambient lighting in the car. Really a beautiful interior. Here you can see the big screen, and then when you move down you have your climate control screen in the center of the two seats, and then of course you have that huge moonroof, beautifully done. And then I showed you earlier on how to change the color of the sunroof, so allowing light in or not. And then of course you have a climate control screen. There you go. I'll show you that in more detail. And then of course you have that beautifully leather clad interior, and just check out all that space. Really a beautiful place to be in the Lotus Eletre. And then you'll also see that there's enough space between your knee and the rear of the front seat. Lots and lots of space. And then of course, as I said, a flat floor due to the batteries. There's no transmission tunnel, and there you go. You can see out the rear window. Beautifully done and clad in a charcoal leather with red stitching. Then let's move down to check out that screen once again, that climate control screen. And there you can see the detail there, a beautifully resoluted screen with all of the options for your climate control. And there you can actually see the air coming out of the vents. Beautifully done. I've got to say the resolution is incredible. And there you have all your options. You can control your fan speed, your temperature, your heated seats, your massage seats, everything from the central screen. You can also remove that and hold it in hand, so a very, very handy climate control screen in the center of the Eletre. Beautifully done. And then of course, once again, notice the ambient lighting, just giving it an incredible feel with inside your cabin in your Lotus Eletre. And then moving on, we will move back up and check out the interior once again. Just a quick overview. There we go. We also see the controls on the driver's seat, and there you have your various different settings for your seat, your massage functions, etc. Also beautifully done in a piano finish with silver inlay. Beautifully done on that would be on the driver's, and of course on the passenger front seat. Beautifully done on the side of, or the right hand side of your driver's seat. So there we go. So let's move on from there, and we'll move out and we'll open the door quickly, and then we'll just go and check out the front boot. Yes, it has a front boot, so we've got to pull this lever twice, not once. So a 1, 2, there we go. And let's go and check out the front boot of the Eletre. So let's move around, and there is the front boot. So let's open it up, and there we go. You'll see it's clad in a plastic cover, not much space in there. All you have is a little space under this plastic cover, which houses a suitcase with your charge cables and charge ports. That's about it. If you take that out, you could probably put a suitcase in there. But remember, below that is your electric motor in the front, and of course there's electric motor in the back as well. So there we go. We close that up, and you can see the Eletre badging on the plastic cover. And then of course you have the only other service there is the windscreen filler cap. So that's about it. That's the front boot of the Lotus Eletra. There we go. So if you liked our video, don't forget to give us the thumbs up, and of course don't forget to subscribe.